Welcome to our show. Since the contact and colonization of North America, generations of elders have spoken of a burning fire in the distance. Out of this fire, a new movement of artists and positive role models will emerge, bringing the oppressed and forgotten a new hope. These people are among us now in the form of rappers like Manik, Eekwol, and Ostwelve, rockers like Killa Green and Black Fire. This is what we call the seventh generation.
Now what's the bullet? And on my hands will turn. We will not forget.
It's hard, it's fast, and the sharp lyrics can make your head spin. It's the music of today's generation, full of anger, hope, and desperation.
Yeah, it's crazy, yo. The cops of Kevlar bringing shotguns to our shows. Middle finger from the stage, I ain't afraid of popos. Shoot me, kill me, stab me, just stash the body and show.
The new forms of music that they're getting into and the new ways of expressing themselves.
Find the inner child in you and tell him to get off his ass.
They're telling us that there's not a lot of time, I think. That they're just fed up with process. That they just have no time for the hollow talk of politicians and parents.
Here goes the chant. Here goes the chant.
Check out this chant too, see if that's loud.
It's not the music that Killa Green's parents raised their kids on.
I grew up listening to like acid rock from the 60s, Johnny Winter, Hendrix, and all these tunes over and over, and Stevie Ray Vaughan. And
my dad also is a drummer. Going to his place every now and then, we'd listen to Led Zeppelin, and he'd always be telling me, man, if you want, if you're gonna learn how to play the drums, you gotta learn how to play like these guys, because these guys are the cats.
since I've grown up as Billy Joe Green's son, I grew up. I was always hearing lots of blues influences and stuff. Actually, when I was growing up, I used to get my dad to teach me guitar riffs. Like he showed me some Megadeth and some Metallica stuff. I got him show me. He showed me Shout at the Devil when it first came out. I was 12 years old. Thought it was cool to have a dad who played guitar and stuff like that.
Laying by the side of the road, please don't sign.
There's not very many native female rockers out there, so it's me. People are enjoying us, but you could see some of the old people, they're all like, oh, it's too loud or whatever. But then a lot of the little girls and everything too were all like, waving at me and stuff. So that felt really good. I was like, oh, those little girls are looking up to me.
Based in Winnipeg, Killa Green members Jesse Green, Ricky Lee Green, and Mike Bruyere have made a massive jump from playing music that suited the ears of their parents.
Well, this is straight ahead rock and roll now, so.
Me and Mike, we were pioneers of our time, He used to have this other band called the Derelicts, and I used to be in another band called Peacemaker, and those were the only two native rock bands in Manitoba, for sure.
At the time in early 90s, it seemed like in the native community it wasn't right, or don't bring that around here. It's like, well, rock, what gives there, because it was originality too, and so I kind of felt kind of hurt.
So all that fizzled out, and there was about a 2-year lull of nothing. I was just like, what's out there? There's nothing interesting happening right now in native music. When I first had the idea to start this band, it was just to create an interest in the native music scene, because at that time there was just nothing going on. It was just pretty dry.
We both knew that it was going to be the heaviest thing. When we come to the table to write songs for Killa Green, we just get into this mindset, and it's all like heavy riffs. We're sitting in the studio and we're coming up with we'll write out it. Well, we could write a country song, but when it comes down to Killa Green, it's all laid out in heavy stuff, and we don't bring up that. We don't bring up the C word and when we're playing Killer Green. It's like no country.
Take 4, audio take 4, I believe.
We're still alive, we're still around.
Well, I take back all the things I used to say. Wow, wow. I don't believe in the American way. Wow, wow. Larry Gates, lost me right in front of me. Wow. Brainwashing with the Hollywood. Thinking we'll create our souls. Dance to the beat that's in our souls. We'll create our souls. Dance to the beat that's in our souls. Wow. We're still alive, we're spinning around. We're singing that song, pow, wow, wow. We're still alive, we're spinning around. We're singing that song, how about that? Faces trying to hold me, but not the ground. Why not? Because brown. I can see it through your jealous haze. Have you forgotten all your Indian war? Sing to the ground, create our souls. Sing our song. Let's create our song. Let's sing our song. Still alive, we're still around. We're singing that song, power round. We're still alive, we're still around. We're singing that song, power round. We're still around. We're still alive, we're still around. Still alive, we're still around. We're still alive, we're still alive, we're still around. We're singing that song, power round. We're still alive, we're still around. We're singing that song, power round.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Beyond Words. Manik and other rappers are part of a North America-wide trend of young natives embracing rap music. Hip-hop is surpassing both heavy rock and traditional powwow music on the reserves. Not surprising, since 56% of Canada's native population is under the age of 25.
So rap music, it's of the streets, it's of the reservation, it's out of poverty, and it's out of just, I guess, a final conflict between truth and lies.
The ladies are doing it!
As this genre grows, the boys step back for the women on the scene, and as far as the rapper Eekwol is concerned, it's ladies first.
I'm a woman, not the same, just want to be valued as an equal.
Well, it flows naturally for me because it's my history, it's what I know. So to talk about cars and chains and everything, it wouldn't be me. I'd be fronting, as they say.
One for the road, so we dabbled with the drink, said he needed to relax, didn't always want to think. I'll admit, I was part of it, it made him happy, brought us closer. Besides, I'm not as pretty or as confident a person when I'm sober. Plus, my connections in the world threatened him. Didn't trust guys, said they're all into the medicine. But the parties were full of the types he despised. Saw the negative attention when he looked into my eyes. I guess I presented it to everyone, my slutty intentions, and I sure as hell paid for it. Seconds after it was mentioned, the glass hit my lip, felt the floor as I slipped.
Born in Winnipeg and raised in Saskatoon, Eekwol is getting national recognition for her lyrics and independent drive.
And then a bottle said, take a sip, but it was difficult to drink with the fat.
I'm a hip-hop artist, but I'm also an Aboriginal artist, so a lot of the times those are separated. Like people like Manik, War Party, we're doing our part to kind of tie the two together.
Too sick to stop the cycle, hammer this nail into my head, living in the cost of a culture lost. Some say I'm better off dead. Too sick to stop the cycle, hammer this nail into my hand.
But when you actually play a hip-hop show at a hip-hop venue, it's mostly like non-Aboriginal kids there. So when you try to do your Aboriginal songs, they're just standing there like, you know, they don't really know what you're talking about. So it's trying to bridge that gap.
You had no arrows, took a knife and stabbed your girl in the chest. No family to bring her home to where they're already at rest. Carried on the tradition of alcohol and fun.
There's no deceiving anybody with hip-hop because it is brutal and it is honest, it is in your face. And that's kind of the warrior spirit of Native people.
It represents a high nation, and I'm also
I've lived a gutter lifestyle, and it's the same as a lot of my people, a lot of my Native people. I know that I've come from that background, and I'm working to live better, build a better future for my kid, you know. So, yeah, for sure, I lived a rough life.
MC Manik is making his own socio-political waves on the West Coast.
A lot of people are shy of controversy.
Inside to coincide with those who die, my soul survives to show the lie. Step up me, my explosive side. You can dabble with that when you're better than the best. Out of your breath, I feel stressed.
That's not the marketable product out there right now, but that's who I am as a person, so just being myself is protecting me, right? Just being who I want to be and not trying to change or alter my image or alter my message is protecting me pretty good.
Manik, aka Derek Edenshaw, has been freestyling, hip-hopping, and cutting socially conscious rhymes since 1995.
Theater, this is Mr. Manik Wonderful. Everybody says that this world, this whole globe's gonna crumble one day. Cause you know what, those fun days, this sure to come. But right now the sun rays is at its longest stage. First day of summer, make some noise.
You do a lot of freestyle.
Yeah.
Now, off the top of your head, you've heard of automatic writing, right?
Yeah.
Spirit channeling. Yeah. Do you feel like that at all when you're doing your freestyle?
I think if you're able just to do that and channel your thoughts or your feelings right to paper and whatnot, then you're going to have a completely, truly uncensored and form of self-expression, like right there, you know?
They're asking me earlier on the camera, how was it? You just channel your thoughts right onto papers. And I answered the question, but then I was really thinking about it. I was like, hey, most of the time, I don't even use paper. Right? I just do that. It's true. Freestyling, being free, and that's what we're talking about around here, right? When I used to sell those crack rocks, and I used to make those evil plots, and my evil plots got rearranged in these different days after maturity kicked in. Right now, I close my eyes tightly, and the spirits talk. I quietly listen. And
I've gone through so much, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. My life has changed so much from being a new parent, new groups of friends, my focus, what I'm looking at around me, what I notice about the world around me constantly changes as I grow. So my music changes to that, but there's always going to be my revolutionary message, my F-cop, hip-hop styles, that's me, right? That's what I do.
Do ride with me.
Vancouver has like a really interesting style of hip-hop compared to a lot of the country or North America, where people have this really complex lyricism. A lot of people are like, oh, what were they just talking about? They used all those multi-syllable words and whatnot. And Oz, when he was younger, 16 or 17, kind of started that trend. When it comes to like all-out skills or whatnot, I know he's like one of the best native rappers for sure, but this guy's a young genius.
Growing up with his grandparents and attending private school in Maple Ridge has given Ostwelve a unique outlook on life.
I could never sit here at a 3-minute song and tell you the fate of the world. But I can give you little ideas, little hints that are going to make you understand it better.
A public enemy, I knew right then that would be my entity. Speak the truth, even the means I walk friendlessly, without selling crack paper stacks, fuck some Hennessy. Nothing can stop me, man. I make my way through city streets, a one-man cocky gang. Suburban native, sharp tongue with that hockey slang, and breakdance battles where these gangsters almost shot me, bang.
I'm a martyr for life, killed by the same peeps that put Khalil Muhammad on ice.
I'm a martyr for life, Killed by the same peeps that book Khalil Muhammad on ice. The same democracy that made Japan through megatons twice.
The same democracy that made Japan for megatons twice. Flanders Fields and poppy deals, the real Miami Vice. So it's like, to break that down, it's like, I'm a martyr for life, which means I'll do this music and talk and speak the truth, which is dangerous. The people who tell the truth die.
Standing outside in this rainstorm, hugging on a flagpole, waiting for the lightning.
4 minutes, one track. Anything to get my life back. Any demonic deceiving acts, just some of the facts. Those races and nations have found favor with God, persecuted and executed by those in the other part. And why is the earth so wide? So many of us done lost our cell before we were ever delved to this virtual version of hell. Before the King James version of hell, trace my bloodlines back. Fact, well 9,000 years have been select in knapsacks, untainted fast track, never held back by physical law or dogma. Walk my own path on a new frontier. I write the captain's log, ma. I don't mean to scare you, but the devil's getting near you. You better find yourself a window for you to throw a chair through. Jump them out, I dare you, cause they so far upon you that you probably got a microchip planted up upon you. I tell you the things I've gone through and I dare not tell you all. And I feel for yours in my life, but I still wanna see them fall. Oh, fuck, what was that? I feel for yours in my life, but I still wanna see you fall. Little
I was always taught to teach people to be really cultural and spiritual and thoughtful. But instead they're teaching people to be really material and shallow, scared, weak, ignorant. That's not good. I mean, all that's doing is feeding the plan of the man, feeding the world banks and, feeding this economy that's fake. That's all they're doing is advertising.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Beyond Words. Welcome back to Beyond Words. Someone asked me once what I thought rock and roll was, and I can only say that it's any music that is young and dangerous. I mean, Chuck Berry in his heyday was so dangerous they jailed him. The clean-cut Buddy Holly was feared by parents everywhere. Elvis with his hips, the Beatles with their hair, the anarchy of the Sex Pistols, the black pride of Public Enemy, the scathing consciousness of Rage Against the Machine. All dangerous. Why is the truth so scary? Whatever music the younger generation identifies with, it's obvious that if there's a struggle and some way to fight for freedom, this will be the true rock and roll.
While you were sleeping, they reached you. It didn't tell you till they came to your door. While you were sleeping, they stole your freedom. Made sure the odds weren't even. There's blood on our hands through time. Light cheap insulation.
We thought that through music it would be a really good way to get these different issues across, because people tend to listen through music because everybody can identify to a beat. It's a drum beat that, it's our heartbeat. It's a drum beat inside of us.
Now the pain is still felt today.
Through that, people are more open.
Emerging with a strong political voice from the desert lands of the Navajo Nation, Blackfire uses their music to bring the struggles of the Diné people and the political land dispute of their traditional homelands of the Black Mesa area of Arizona to the forefront.
On the pages of your books, blood paints you heaven. Now for all the lives that you...
Harassment, as far as harassment, I mean, we've had the cops pull the plug, on the show and unplug everything. We've had, the city Flagstaff call out the riot squad and the gang task force because they were suppressing kids' freedom of speech.
Comprised of two brothers and their sister, Blackfire's style uses traditional Native American, punk, ska, and alternative with socio-political messages about government oppression, genocide, domestic violence, and human rights.
We've always been politically directed when we see injustice happening, especially, just existing where we live.
This song is called Mean Things Happening in This World. It's an anti-war song that was written over 50 years ago. And it's sort of unfortunate that we're going through the same stuff today, but at the same time, we're actually part of a movement. And it's something that's very important for us to realize that we're part of it. It's a larger movement that goes all the way back on this continent to 1492 and beyond. And we've been resisting these programs of genocide, this occupation for this long, and these ways of war. And there is another way.
In 1994, they recorded their first CD, which was produced by C.J. Ramone of the Ramones.
Everything is leased and lends to the government. It is rent. Yeah, the soldier.
They followed this up with a full-length One Nation Under, which won the 2002 Native American Music Award for Best Pop Rock Album of the Year.
Rolling on to the bursting, all the mountains, brother, sister, getting killed for that greenback dollar bill.
Who we are is political, being indigenous people here on this continent.
There's me happening in this world.
Because of our connection to the earth, our spiritual connections and our historical connections, because of the history of terrorism that has been inflicted upon our people as part of the policy of governments and corporations, and these are things that still exist today.
To the war that's drawing near, you're spied on by police. If you speak that word of peace, and if you talk about brotherly love, back in jail, you'll get so.
We stand up for what we believe, and that's something that's always, been taught to us by our elders. Our relatives are from the Big Mountain area, those outlying areas where communities are in resistance to unjust, corrupt policies that have been enforced by the U.S. government.
Happening in this world.
Being Blackfire as a native band, we really try to break down stereotypes. We don't want people to come to our shows expecting that it's going to be chanting and feathers. I mean, we're very proud of that. That's our heritage, and we still carry that on. But we're using music, we're using loud, aggressive music, just to express who we are.
Cops turn on the heat. If you talk peace in the streets, here, organize my brother and sister.
Using their music for social change is what drives these artists to keeping it independent and real.
I'm not really interested in the big BMG record deal. I'd like a distribution deal from somewhere. That's would be the extent of it, right? But I'm not looking at quarters of millions of dollars or millions of dollars. That doesn't interest me. It's not my lifestyle, right?
But then sometimes people, I think, forget who they are and forget where they come from. So they get sort of absorbed into the rest of mainstream America, which pretty much is what we're against. And so that's why we maintain our independence and try to go through distribution channels that are, maintain that integrity as well, because it could be really easy to just get sucked into that magnet and get stuck to that system, that type of livelihood that is abusing resources and living in a way that is not sustainable.
To me, I'm gonna make music to heal people. It's media medicine. It's my media medicine I'm creating. So whether it goes big or not, which to me, the ultimate way to heal people is to get into that commercial scene. So, if it appeals, it appeals. If it doesn't, I really couldn't care less.
Thanks for watching our show. Be sure to join us next week as we take you beyond words.